UNS Corsair, this is Captain Adjunct Keth Varun of the Kresh Dominion Battle Group Varax Fist. Heave to immediately. Power down weapons. Prepare for boarding. Compliance ensures your survival. CMDR. Mara Vance gripped the armrests of her command chair. The holographic display bloomed with the alien battleship silhouette, a behemoth layered in 12 shimmering shield nodes. 2 cruisers flanked it, their interceptors swarming like hornets. She tapped the comms panel. Negative, Varax Fist. Corsair does not heave to. We are United Nations Navy. Stand down or be engaged. Static crackled. Varun's voice returned, laced with amusement. Primitive frigate, your kinetic toys cannot pierce our shields. Surrender now. Vance killed the channel. Ensign Pell, status on their vector. Ensign Lyra Pell's fingers danced over her sensor console. Her voice stayed level. Battle group closing at 0.8 C, ma'am. 12-layer primary on the battleship, 6 on cruisers. Interceptors in wedge formation, gaps at vectors 240 Mark 15 and 300 Mark 22. Shield modulations cycle every 47 seconds. Vance nodded. Pell's comm fed her own focus. Tag those gaps, feed to weapons. Aye, Captain. LT Sato, Vance said. LT, Kenji Sato straightened at his gunnery station. His eyes flicked across Railgun diagnostics. Rails hot, ma'am. Capacitors at 62%. Request 1 live fire window. We punch the battleship's forward node array. Primitive physics will do the rest. Vance scanned the plot. The railgun was a museum piece next to alien energy lances. Solid slugs at 0.3 C. No flash, no finesse. But it hit like God's hammer if you timed it right. Granted, 1 shot, make it count. Chief Akoy, Vance called. From engineering's feed on her chair display, Chief Amani Akoy's face appeared, sweat beading under the red emergency lights. Rerouting reactor output now, Captain. Full dump to capacitors. Cooling loops primed. Rails aligned. But high-G turn incoming, we'll feel it. Do it, Vance ordered. The deck shuddered. Alarms wailed as Akoy locked in the maneuver. Corsair's fusion drive roared. Vance's stomach lurched against her restraints. 8GS crushed down. Her vision tunneled, but she forced her eyes on the plot. Interceptors streaked closer. Their shields glowed blue-white, modulating in sync. Pell's tags pulsed red on the hollow, gaps widening as the aliens tightened formation. Window in 20 seconds, Sato said, his voice strained under the GS. Slugs chambered, velocity optimal. Varun's face filled the main viewer again, unbidden. His scaled features twisted in a smirk. Human Captain, your evasion is futile. Our shields laugh at your relics. The Varax Fist will capture your hull intact for study. Vance ignored him. Helm, match that turn. Pell, jam their point defense if they twitch. Corsair whipped into the high-G arc. The frigate's frame groaned, old alloy but human true. Akoy's voice cut through. Capacitors at 98%. Rails green. Fire when ready, Lieutenant. Sato's hands hovered over controls. Target locked. Gap aligned. Firing. The ship bucked. No beam, no flare. Just a deep thrum as 50 kg tungsten slugs hurled from the twin barrels at Mach 900. They crossed 200 clicks in heartbeats. Impact bloomed on the plot. The battleship's forward shields flickered, once, twice. The third slug chain hammered home. Node 3 shattered. Cracks spiderwebbed through layers 4 and 5. Varun's transmission glitched. What impossible? Shields at full, all units concentrate fire. Energy lances stabbed out. Corsair jinked. Pell's sweet flared countermeasures, ghost echoes, and false locks. 1 lance grazed the frigate's hull. Armor plates vaporized. Alarms screamed hull breach, deck 5. Damage minimal, Akoy reported. Sealing now, rails reloading, 45 seconds. Vance's pulse thundered in her ears. The alien's wedge formation fractured. Cruisers peeled off to flank, shields pulsing faster. Interceptors dove in pairs, their lighter shields vulnerable. Pell, new gaps. Vector 270 Mark 10, ma'am. Cruisers desensing modulation at 52 seconds now. Panicking. Good eye. Vance leaned forward. Sato, second window. Target lead cruiser port shield generator. Aye. Sato's fingers flew. The deck vibrated as capacitors charged again. Varun bellowed over open comms. How? Your weapons are Stone Age. Shields recalibrating, overcharge protocols. Corsair rolled. G-forces shifted, pinning Vance sideways. She tasted blood from a bitten lip. The plot showed it. Alien shields, masters of energy deflection, choked on raw kinetic mass. Slugs didn't care about modulation. They punched through layer by layer, dumping insane energy into generators already strained. Second salvo launched. Slugs tore into the lead cruiser. Its shields imploded in a cascade, 6 layers gone in one volley. The hull buckled. Secondary explosions ripped from its core. "Kill confirmed," Pell said flatly. The battle group recoiled. Varak's fist veered wide, its remaining forward shields flickering erratically. Interceptors scattered, firing wildly. "HFY power status?" Vance asked. "Capacitors drained to 23%, but reactors stable. One more full volley, then we coast." "Sato." Third window opening, battleship's blind side exposed. Vance watched Varun's ship lumber. The alien captain's doctrine, layered shields invincible, crumbled under human math. Slugs didn't warp or deflect. They ablated shields via sheer momentum transfer, overheating nodes before energy weapons could cycle. "Fire!" Rails spat again. The battleship shuddered on sensors. Primary node array vaporized. Debris bloomed. Varun's voice cracked. "All ships withdraw, regroup at." A cruiser exploded under return fire from Sato's opportunistic burst. Interceptors peeled away, shields sparking. Corsair drifted in the aftermath, capacitors winding down. Hull integrity at 82%. Crew stations lit green. Vance exhaled. Pell tracked their retreat. Sato stand down rails. HFY damage report. But the plot pinged anew. Reinforcements, 2 more Dominion heavies, shields layering up. Varun's final transmission hissed through. "This is not over, human. Your primitives bought time, nothing more." Vance smiled thinly. "Helm plot intercept. They think we're done. Let's show them reload speed." The deck hummed as HFY pushed power back online. Corsair accelerated into the void, rails hungry for the next gap. "Helm hard burn starboard, feint toward their flank cruiser," Vance snapped. Corsair's engines thrummed. Acceleration pinned the crew to their stations. Sensors lit up as the 2 Dominion heavies closed formation, shields layering in overlapping blue webs. Varun's voice crackled over open channel. "Human relic, your decorative rail is no match for true shields. Surrender the frigate, we claim it intact." Vance gripped her command rail. Decorative, the word fueled her. "Pell, eyes on that lead cruiser. Modulation patterns?" Ensign Pell's fingers danced across her console. "Tracking now, ma'am. Forward envelope extending, overreaching to cover their wingman." The alien cruiser lunged forward, shields stretching thin. Perfect bait. "HFY, divert auxiliary power to capacitors. Keep rails cold." Vance watched the tactical display. Corsair's feint drew the cruiser out, exposing its belly to the void. "Power rerouted," HFY replied from engineering. Her voice stayed level. "Rails at 47% charge, cooling optimal." Sato leaned into his targeting grid. "They're predictable, Captain." "Shield nodes cycle every 4.2 seconds. Pell nodded without looking up. "Confirmed, flicker at trough, 0, 8 seconds vulnerability, repeating cycle locked." Vance's pulse steadied. Humans didn't need fancy warp fields, they needed math. "Sato, load dense kinetic sabot." "Time it to the trough." "Aye, sabot chambered." Sato's screens flickered with calculations. Mass, velocity, impact vector, rail physics, pure and brutal. "Solution green, 1 shot penetrates primary generator." The lead cruiser fired probing lances, energy bolts that splashed harmlessly off Corsair's battered armor. Alarms whooped. "Evasive microburns," Vance ordered. "Helm, straighten us into firing lane on my mark." Varun laughed through the comm. "Your kinetics bounce off layered shields. We evolved past brute force eons ago." Corsair jinked. A lance grazed the hull, venting atmosphere. HFY sealed it instantly. "Shields at max extension," Pell reported. "Trough in 3, 2, Vance tensed. "Commit now or waste the window." "All hands brace, Sato, fire on trough, helm mark," Rails screamed. The sabot hurled forward at Mach 20, a sliver of tungsten death. Impact bloomed on sensors. The cruiser's forward shield winked, then shattered. Node arrays overloaded in a cascade of plasma. Varun's channel erupted. "Impossible, shields held against dreadnoughts," debris sprayed. The cruiser listed, secondary explosions ripping its flank. Corsair coasted through the kill zone. "Pell, status on the second heavy." "Shields contracting, reforming tight, but their leads crippled, ma'am." Sato grinned faintly. "Penetration confirmed. Momentum transfer spiked their core temp 300%. Primitive works." Vance allowed a nod. "HFY reload sequence. We're not done." But the second heavy pivoted, lances charging bright. Varun barked orders in guttural alien tongue. Translators lagged. Flank and envelop crush the antique. Corsair's engines whined under strain. Hull integrity dipped to 79%. They're adapting, Pell said. Modulation shifting to counter our timing. Vance studied the plot. 2 heavies now, shields meshed like a net. Feint worked once, repeat meant death. Sato run sims on overlapped fields, find the seam. Already on it, his console hummed. Layered nodes create interference ripple every 6.1 seconds. Pell cross-checked. Matches my scan, weak point at dorsal midship. Akoi cut in. Capacitors at 62%, 1 more sabot than we coast blind. Vance weighed it. Press now, risk everything. Pull back, let them regroup. No retreat, not with crew trusting her call. Helm vector for dorsal approach. Microburns only stay dark. Corsair ghosted forward. The heavies loomed, shields pulsing in sync. Varun's voice returned, smug. You struck lucky once, human. Our doctrine prevails. Shields eternal. Vance ignored him. Pell, call the ripple. Ripple in 10. They're overconfident, extending again to finish us. Sato loaded the next sabot. Impact synced. This one's denser, tungsten iridium alloy. Akoi's tweak. Her engineering our edge, Vance said. The deck shuddered as lances probed. One clipped the wing, shearing sensors. Damage minimal, Akoi reported. Rails aligned. Ripple now, Pell called. Fire! Vance committed the lane. Rails thundered. The sabot streaked true. It punched the seam. Shields flared, then buckled. The heavy's dorsal array vaporized in a fireball. Varun howled. Evacuate all units. Secondary blasts chained. The heavy split amidships. Corsair barreled past wreckage. Cheers rippled through the bridge, cut short by alarms. Pell spun. Third contact, destroyer squadron inbound, shields fresh. Vance exhaled slow. Varun's reinforcements. Status. 3 destroyers, layered formation, modulations randomized. Sato wiped sweat. We can crack 'em, but capacitors at 18%. Akoi pushed from below. Reactor spiking, give me 2 minutes. Varun's signal pierced the static. You primitives defy logic, but numbers end you. Vance smiled cold. Helm circle for reload. Pell mapped their randoms. Sato, next window. Corsair danced in the debris field. Rails cooled, hungry again. The destroyers closed, shields weaving unpredictable webs. Pell's console beeped patterns emerging. Cycle breaking, she said. Humans see the math first. Vance nodded, underestimated, always, but a new ping spiked tension. Larger signature, Varun's flagship, shields regenerating. They're calling the cavalry, Sato muttered. Akoi, how fast? 90 seconds to full charge. Vance gripped tighter. 1 frigate against a battle group. Time to prove reload speed meant victory. Plot intercept on the destroyers, feint low, strike high. Engines roared, Corsair surged. The lead destroyer fired wild, lances scorched space. Pell tracked. Window forming 0, 4 seconds, Sato armed. Sabot ready, Varun taunted. Your rails are relics, surrender. Fire. Slug lanced out. Shield trough caught it perfect. Destroyer erupted. 2 left. Shields flickered in panic. They're modulating frantic, Pell said. Sato reloaded seamless. Second window. Corsair weaved through fire. Hull groaned at 74%. Fire, another destroyer bloomed. The last one broke formation, shields contracting. Varun's flagship loomed on edge of sensors, full power. Akoi now. Capacitors hot. Vance eyed the plot. 1 shot left. Flagship's shields triple layered. Pell flicker. Identified. Trough aligns in 20 seconds if we push engines redline. Risky but decisive. Helm redline burn straight lane. G-forces crushed. Alarms screamed overload. Varun broadcast wide. Witness Dominion might. Human toys fail. Corsair aligned. Rails peaked. Fire. The final sabot flew. Flagship's forward shield winked. Worst moment for them. Impact registered. Nodes shattered. Plasma vented. Varun's scream cut off. Corsair drifted. Power flatlining. Debris fields expanded. Silence fell. Then Pell. Flagship venting core. Destroyers gone. Clear space, ma'am. Vance sagged. Crew stations glowed green. Hull at 71%. Stand down all. Akoi limp home vector. But sensors pinged faint. Dominion distress beacon more coming. Varun's last words echoed, not over. Vance straightened. Reload what we can, they learn slow. Rails hummed faint. Corsair turned toward the stars, primitives unbroken. Fire! LT. Sato's finger stabbed the trigger. The railgun roared. A tungsten sabot lanced from Corsair's bow at Mach 20, invisible on sensors until it hit. CMDR, Mara Vance gripped her command chair. She watched the plot. Ensign Pell's voice cut through. Trough aligned, slugs threading primary and secondary layers, no deflection. The Dominion destroyer's shields flickered blue, 3 layers modulated to repel plasma and lasers, but not mass. The sabot punched clean through the first, shredded the second, vaporized nodes on the third. It kept going, drilled into the hull like wet paper. The destroyer erupted in a fireball, debris sprayed wide. Varun's voice boomed over open channel. Primitive toys. Your rails are relics, surrender human or... Vance ignored him. Helm lateral thrust now, full port evasive. Corsair's engines thrummed. The frigate slewed sideways at 12 Gs. Plasma lances from the remaining destroyers scorched past, missing by kilometers. Muzzle flash from the railgun had painted them perfectly. They fired blind. Alarms wailed, hull integrity at 82%. Vance's teeth ground. Pell next window. 10 seconds, ma'am. Second destroyer modulating frantic, trough opening on their starboard quarter. Sato's hands flew over controls. Reloading seamless, rails at 92% cool. Chief Akoy barked from engineering. Heat building, venting primary sinks, capacitors nominal. Corsair weaved through return fire. Lasers grazed the shields. Human emitters, thin but tough, absorbed the hits. Vance eyed the plot. 2 destroyers left. Varun's flagship loomed at sensor edge, triple-shielded behemoth. A line for second shot, steady. G-forces pinned the crew. Vance's vision tunneled, discipline held. Sato called, loaded, power peak. Fire, the sabot streaked out. Pell tracked it live. Primary layer breached, secondary buckling, no slowdown, tertiary nodes failing. Impact. The second destroyer bloomed orange, atmosphere vented in a silent scream. 1 left. The last destroyer broke formation. Shields contracted tight, desperate. Varun's flagship surged forward, full power, plasma batteries charging. Pell flicker on the big one. Identified, ma'am, triple layers, but forward trough aligns in 20 seconds. We push engines redline. Risky overload certain, but decisive. Helm redline burn, straight lane to target. Thrusters ignited. Corsair accelerated hard. Hull groaned at 74% integrity. Alarms screamed cascade failure. Vance's straps bit skin. Varun broadcast wide, voice smug. Witness Dominion might. Human relics fail against true shields. Prepare to be boarded. Corsair aligned. Rails wind to peak charge. Sato locked. Sabot chambered. Physics don't lie. Akoy yelled. Capacitors hot, first bank blown on recoil. Swapping now. Vance trusted her. Pell mark. 3. 2, trough open. Fire now. Fire! The railgun thundered. Recoil bucked the frigate. The sabot flew true. Vance stared at the plot. Telemetry streamed. Velocity steady. Shields parted like fog. It didn't slow. Drilled primary layer clean. Pierced secondary without drag. Shattered tertiary nodes in a cascade. Kept going straight into the flagship's forward hull. Armor parted. Critical systems breached. Plasma vented from rents. Power signatures flatlined. Varun's scream cut the channel. Static. Corsair drifted, power flatlining. Debris fields expanded. Silence gripped the bridge. Pell broke it. Flagship venting core plasma, destroyers gone, clear space, ma'am. Vance sagged in her chair. Crew stations glowed green across the board, hull at 71%. They breathed, alive. Stand down all weapons. Akoy limp home vector, damage report. Engineering crackled. Rails intact, ma'am. Capacitors swapped, rerouting power. We fly. Sato wiped sweat. 3 for 3, troughs predicted perfect. Vance nodded. Humans first. No celebration yet. Sensors pinged faint, a Dominion distress beacon. Reinforcements inbound. Varun's last laugh not over. Reload what we can, they learn slow. Rails hummed faint. Corsair turned toward the stars, primitives unbroken. But the beacon strengthened. Vance straightened. Plot updated, 2 heavy cruisers, ETA 15 minutes. Shields like Varun's triple modulated, expecting easy pickings. Akoy squeeze every joule to the guns. Sato run sims on their patterns. Pell jam that beacon if you can. Pell tapped keys. Jamming active. But they're close, sensors painting 6 batteries each. Vance studied the plot. Outnumbered, outgunned by alien standards. Rails obsolete, they'd see. Helm evasive pattern Delta 7 by time. Corsair jinked. Fresh plasma volleys probed. Shields held at 43%. Sato called. Rails cooling fast. First shot ready in 90 seconds. Akoy growled. Pushing capacitors to 110%. Don't miss. Vance broadcast open channel. No taunts, just data. She keyed the impact telemetry from Varun's kill. Shield penetrations, node failures, hull breaches. Raw numbers, let them see. This is UNS Corsair. Your shields fail mass drivers. Adapt or break. Static. Then a new voice clipped alien tones. Human lies. Dominion cruisers inbound. Surrender. Vance smiled cold. Watch. Pell lit up. Cruisers modulating. Trough sinking every 12 seconds. First window in 8. Corsair burned hard. Lateral thrust dodged a plasma rake. Hull dipped to 69%. Align. Fire on mark. Sato fired. Sabot streaked. First cruiser's shields parted. No slowdown. Drilled through all 3 layers. Bridge section vaporized. The cruiser yawed, engines flaming. Second cruiser veered. Shields flickered, panic. Reload. Vance snapped. Akoi vented heat plumes. Swapped another bank. Rails green. Return fire intensified. A laser clipped Corsair's flank. Shields collapsed forward arc. Hull at 65%. Sparks flew on bridge. Pell stayed calm. Second trough mark in 5. Varun's successor barked. Impossible. Shields impenetrable. Fire. Sabot launched. Telemetry perfect. Layers shredded. Second cruiser erupted. Debris pinged Corsair's hull. Silence again. Beacons silent. Clear vectors home. Vance exhaled. Secure all. Plot course to rally point. Transmit battle log fleet-wide. Crew moved. Sato logged shots. Akoi nursed power. Pell scrubbed sensor ghosts. But deep scan pinged. One survivor craft cloaked faint. Dominion probe. Scout. Vance tensed. Pell confirm. Negative contact, ma'am. Ghosted. Trust instincts. Sato 1 round hot. Akoi standby spin up. Rails word. Corsair ghosted forward. Primitives unbroken. Always one more shot. The ghost sharpened. Enemy shuttle leaking atmo. Hail it. No. Vance eyed plot. Mercy later. Target acquired? Affirm, Sato said. Disable engines only. Sabot whispered out. Reduced charge. Punched shields. Sheared drives. Shuttle tumbled dead. Pell hailed. Dominion craft power down. Standby recovery. Alien response crackled. You. Pierced shields. How? Vance keyed mic. Mass beats energy every time. Crew chuckled low. Vance allowed it. Earned. But fleet command pinged. Reinforcements scattered but sector hot. Corsair tasked patrol. Helm new vector. Akoi patch hull. Frigate hummed alive. Rails ready. Humans waited. Aliens chased myths now. Corsair slipped into the black. Underestimated. Unbroken. Contacts. Multiple. Bearing 040. Range 50,000. Ensign Pell's voice cut through the bridge hum. CMDR. Mara Vance snapped her eyes to the main plot. 3 Dominion cruisers, escorts tight. Same shield-heavy formation as last time, but denser now. Icons overlapped in a glowing web. ID them, Vance said. Dominion Battle Group. Captain Adjunct Keth Varun commanding. Pell tapped keys. Tightening shields, mutual overlap at 90%. Firing lanes denied. Vance gripped her armrest. Varun, the one who'd called their rails relics before his lead ship vaporized, learned fast. Shields interlocked like chainmail, no gaps for a clean shot. Incoming tight beam, Pell added. Patch through. Varun's scaled face filled the screen, mandibles clicking. Human vessel, surrender. Your primitives fail against evolved doctrine. Vance smirked. Evolved. We've got company coming. Yield the sector. Insolence. Varun's eyes narrowed. Shields reform, no vectors penetrate. Screen blanked. Plot updated, alien formation contracted. Cruisers edged closer, shields pulsing in sync. Perfect bubble. Railgun couldn't thread it without a miracle. Helm close in sprint, flank speed, force their hand. Vance leaned forward. Collision or scatter, pick one. Aliens. Aye, ma'am. Helm officer pushed throttles. Corsair surged, engines roaring through the deck. Accelerating hard, 5Gs crushing. Plot tightened. Range dropped to 30,000. Alien escorts peeled off, thrusters firing wild to evade, but cruisers held, shields straining at the edges. They're choosing coherence, LT Sato murmured from weapons. Predictable. Shields holding, Pell reported. But modulation spikes, jamming range gates now. Vance nodded. Pell's fingers flew, Yeo sweet hummed. False pings bloomed across the plot, decoy signatures mirroring Corsair. Ghosts danced. Alarms wailed. Alien lasers stabbed blind, carving vacuum. One nicked a decoy, real shots scattered. Split their targeting, Vance said. Good work. Range 20,000, Corsair barreled in. Alien formation buckled, escorts dodged, cruisers veered minimal, shields flickered at overlaps. Rail status? Vance asked. Sato's screens glowed. Charged, but their web resynced too fast for full salvos. Staggered microsalvos hit the troughs as they reform. Aye, Sato keyed sequences. Rail's words spin up smooth thanks to Akoi below. First microburst spat, 3 sabots timed seconds apart. Sabots streaked. First punched a cruiser shield, energy flared, trough formed. Second slipped through, hull breach. Third widened it, armor shredded. Cruiser listed, venting plasma. Varun's voice crackled open. How? Resync complete. Not complete enough. Vance watched the plot. Second cruiser targeted. Microsalvos chained, shields buckled again. Explosions bloomed, but escorts rallied. Point defense lashed out. One sabot vaporized mid-run. Corsair shuddered, glancing hit to hull plating. Damage minimal, Akoy patched from engineering. Rails aligned, power steady. They're patching, Pell warned. Shield doctrine shift, rotating frequencies, overlaps dynamic now. Plot confirmed, cruisers danced in tight helix. Shields wove, no static troughs. Microsalvos splashed harmless, energy dispersed. Varun crowed over comms. Your mass yields to harmony, yield. Vance's jaw set. Aliens fixed the hole. Fine, she patched hers. Helm matched their helix. Inside the weave, Pell spoof us as third cruiser, blend signatures. Helm twisted Corsair into the spin. Frigate dove into the formation's heart, engines screaming. Range 5,000, collision warnings blared. Aliens scattered for real. Escorts broke wide. Cruisers yawed hard, shields tore apart in the scramble. They're choosing avoidance, Sato whooped. Firing lanes open, full salvo, Sato, now. Rails thundered, capacitors dumped. 6 sabots hurled at lead cruiser Varun's. Telemetry fed back, shields down 30%. Impacts hammered, bridge armor cracked. Secondary blasts ripped engines. Cruiser spun dead. Varun's hail cut in frantic. Primitives win impossible. Mass beats energy. Vance killed the channel. Pell designate survivors. Sato disable weapons only. Corsair weaved through debris. Last cruiser fled, escorts trailing. Rails spoke twice more, drives sheared clean. Silence fell, plot cleared, Vance exhaled. Secure stations, Akoy damage report. Hull patched, rails hot, ma'am. Fleet ping inbound, rally confirmed, sector secured. Again. But Pell's board pinged faint. Deep scan, cloaked signatures inbound, reinforcements. Vance tensed. Spin up, we ghost first. Corsair accelerated into the void. Rails hungry, aliens adapted. Humans closer. Deeper scan resolved, not Dominion. Unknown drive signatures, probes. Hunters, multiple tracks, Pell said. Fast movers, shielded. Vance eyed the plot. No time for rally, fight here. Sato load penetrators, Akoy overcharge coils. Rails word louder. New contacts sharpened, sleek darts, energy sheaths glowing, not cruisers, something meaner. Incoming transmission, Pell said. Alien tongue, translated rough. Human, you pierced Varun, we test further. Vance smiled cold. Bring it. Darts swarmed, shields hummed alien high, but Corsair spun to meet them. Pell jammed first, ghosts multiplied. Sato fired microburst, 2 darts shredded. They closed fast. Lasers raked Corsair's flanks, hull sparked. Shields, we don't need 'em, Vance muttered. Impact in 10, Helm called. Hard burn, flank the lead. Corsair jinked, darts overshot, rails roared full. Lead dart exploded in kinetic fury, swarm wheeled, Vance watched patterns. Pell their shields cycle every 2.3 seconds, Sato sync to that. Data fed, salvos chained perfect, darts popped one by one, last dart fled, hail, data acquired, humanity, noted. Vance keyed back. Noted, run the numbers again. Static, clear skies, crew exhaled, Sato logged, Akoy cooled systems, Pell scrubbed ghosts, but command pinged urgent, Corsair, sector breach, heavy elements inbound, hold vector. Vance plotted, rails ready, always one more adaptation. Hours blurred, patrols stretched, then massive contacts, battlecruiser group, Dominion core fleet. Varun's revenge? Sato asked, Pell shook head. New commander, shields triple layered, adaptive weave. Vance stood. Helm closed the gap, same drill. Corsair charged. Aliens waited, doctrine perfected, or so they thought. Bridge alarms peaked. Incoming barrage plasma lances, shield-piercing tuned. Corsair rolled, lasers grazed. Evasive pattern Delta, Vance ordered. Helm complied, frigate danced. Pell spoofed 10 ghosts, enemy fire split. Range 10,000, shields ahead, impenetrable wall. They're overlapping triple, Sato said. No troughs. Microsalvos won't cut, Akoy chimed. Power draw too high. Vance scanned readouts. Human rails, kinetic mass, no energy to sink. Sato, cluster fire. Overload 1 node. Weapons officer nodded. Rails built charge max. Sabot cluster launched, 20 micromasses fused tight, cluster hit, single point overload, enemy shield node cascaded, web unraveled, cruiser breached, battlecruiser shuddered. Enemy commander hailed, new voice furious. How triple weave unbreakable? Mass scales. Vance cut feed, follow-ups hammered, 2 cruisers down, battlecruiser fled, trailing fire, debris field vast, Corsair picked path, silent victory, fleet command, battle log fleet-wide. Corsair demonstrates. Vance allowed a nod. Crew earned grins, but Pell pinged. Ghost trail, survivor shuttle, Varun aboard. Plot locked, rails spun. Disable, Vance said. Sabot whispered. Shuttle crippled. Hail crackled. Varun, you close. Always closer. Doctrine fails. Adapt or die. Vance signed off. Corsair slipped away. Primitives unbroken. Sector theirs. Deep space hummed. New ping, Alliance beacon. Human fleet inbound. Vance plotted join. Rails cold. For now. Akoi reported. Systems nominal, ready for more. Always, plot flickered. Faint anomaly, not alien. Pell. Human transponder, damaged scout, hours. Vance keyed rescue. Helm vector assist. Frigate closed. Scout hailed weak. Corsair, heard your logs. Rails saved us. Mass beats energy, Vance replied. Laughter crossed beams. Humans linked. Aliens watched from afar. Myths grew. Corsair pressed on, underestimated, unyielding. Word from plasma lanced across the void. It slammed into UNS Corsair's starboard flank. Alarms screamed. Mara Vance gripped her command chair as the deck bucked. Thruster 3 offline, Ensign Pell shouted from sensors. Fire in capacitor adjacent, compartments breached. Vance's screens flickered, red icons bloomed. The alien battle group loomed ahead, 3 cruisers in triple-weave shields, Captain Adjunct Keth Varun's battle cruiser at core. They thought her frigate obsolete. Kinetic-only armament, no energy weapons to match their plasma dance. Hold fire solution, Vance ordered. Sato stand by rails, Akoi get me that gun. Aye, Captain. LT, Sato's voice stayed level. His fingers danced over gunnery plots. Corsair drifted. Maneuver thruster gone. The plasma strike had carved deep, superheated hull venting atmosphere. Vance smelled acrid smoke through recyclers. Crew stations rattled. Varun's hail cut in. His scaled face filled the main screen, eyes gleaming with triumph. Human vessel, your primitives fail. Surrender, your mass throwers cannot pierce our weave. Vance ignored him. Helm, compensate with mains, keep us on vector. Aye. The pilot fought sticks. Ship groaned. Below decks, Chief Akoi crawled through smoke-choked corridors. Her engineering team followed, suits sealed. Fire suppression foam hissed useless against plasma-melted bulkheads. Capacitor room adjacent burned hot. Seal it, Akoi barked. She slapped emergency hatches, air whooshed, flames starved, power feeds severed, railgun capacitors drained mid-charge. Akoi traced lines, reroute auxiliary buses, hand-link the primaries. Her team yanked conduits. Sparks flew, they bridged power from inertial dampers, non-critical now. Rails needed juice. Akoi wiped sweat. Charge sequence restart, 60 seconds. Vance watched damage reports scroll. Pell's console pinged. Enemy shield modulation, cycling portside nodes. Overlap at azimuth 240. Seam window in 10. Perfect. Varun's doctrine layered energy fields left gaps if you watched. Humans watched. Drift increasing, Helm reported. Firing solution degrading 0.3% per second. Hold it, Vance said. Trust the crew, Sato's math would compensate. Sato adjusted. His plots overlaid drift vectors. Railgun alignment suffered, mounts warped from heat. But physics held. Mass at velocity punched shields if focused. Solution locked, Captain. Degraded but viable. Fire on your mark. Varun's voice returned. Your silence condemns you. Plasma volley 2 inbound. Sensors lit. Fresh lances streaked. Corsair jinked barely. One grazed dorsal armor. Hull integrity dropped to 72%. Akoi's voice crackled over comms. Capacitors hot. Rails green. Fire away. Mark, Vance said. Rails thrummed. Massive inductors spun up. Power surged through hand-rooted lines. Sabot slug launched, dense tungsten core wrapped in discardable sheath. It crossed vacuum at Mach 20 relative. Enemy cruiser loomed in sights. Triple weave shimmered, plasma grids interlocking, but Pell's data fed true. Slug hit the seam. Overlap faltered a microsecond. Shields flared, node overloaded. Web collapsed local. Armor breached. Cruiser vented plasma of its own. Varun's face twisted on screen. Impossible. Our analytics predicted your kinetics scatter on weave. Vance keyed transmit. Analytics lie mass scales. She cut him, crew whooped, brief, disciplined, but battle group wheeled, 2 cruisers flanked, battle cruiser powered weapons. Pell next seam. Starboard cruiser 5 seconds, modulating now. Corsair drifted wide, helm fought. Akoi reported up, aux buses holding but cooling strained, 2 shots max before meltdown. Sato cluster load, Vance leaned forward. Overload pattern, Sato nodded. Rails charged again, faster, hotter. He programmed Sabo cluster 20 microslugs fused in tight formation. Single point impact, fire, cluster whispered out, it struck true. Port cruiser shields buckled. Cascade failure rippled, hull plates shredded, debris bloomed. Battlecruiser shuddered, Varun's formation fractured. They're breaking, Pell said, calm as ever. Not yet. Vance eyed plots, survivor signatures pinged, escape pods, no shuttle trail, Varun's, target that ghost, Vance ordered. Disable. Rails spun cold to hot in seconds. Akoi's magic, Sabo flew precise. Shuttle crippled mid-burn, it tumbled. Hail crackled, Varun's voice furious edged with awe. How triple weave unbreakable against your relics. Relics adapt. Vance signed off, follow-ups hammered, second cruiser down. Battlecruiser fled, trailing atmosphere, debris field vast. Corsair picked path through it. Silent victory. Fleet command pinged. Battle log fleet-wide, Corsair demonstrates rail efficacy. Vance allowed a nod. Crew exchanged grins, earned. Pell pinged private, ghost trail confirmed, Varun aboard that shuttle. Lock plot. Rails ready, Akoi chimed, systems nominal. Sabo whispered, shuttle dead in space. Varun hailed again. You close, always closer. Our doctrine fails against your persistence. Adapt or die. Vance ended it. Corsair slipped away. Sector secured. Deep space hummed. New ping, Alliance beacon. Human fleet inbound. Vance plotted intercept. Rails cooled, for now. Akoi reported, all green, ready for more. Plot flickered. Faint anomaly, not alien. Pell. Human transponder. Damaged scout. Hours. Vance keyed rescue. Helm vector assist. Frigate closed gap. Scout hailed weak. Corsair, heard your logs already spreading. Rails saved our sims. Mass beats energy, Vance replied. Laughter crossed tight beams. Ships linked formation. Aliens watched from range. Myths grew of the primitive gun that broke weaves. Corsair pressed on, underestimated, unyielding, but alarms blared anew. Long-range sensors screamed. Incoming, Pell snapped. Keth Varun's reinforcements, heavy squadron. Quadweave shields. Vance's screens updated. 4 heavies escorts, they came vengeful. Akoi double-check capacitors, Sato load heavies. Crew snapped to, drift fixed, Akoi had jury-rigged thruster bypass. Corsair accelerated. Varun's face returned, broadcast wide. You primitives embarrassed us once. Quadweave ends you, surrender your relic schematics. Vance smirked. Come find out. Plasma volleys lit the black, Corsair danced, Rails answered, first heavy struck, seam spotted, slug punched, shields parted like foil, crew cheers echoed. But Quadweave held elsewhere, heavies closed. Fire incoming, Pell warned. Pattern shift, adaptive modulation. Sato recalculated. Adjusting for drift, Akoi power spike. Feeding now, Chief's voice strained, hand roots overheated, sparks in her bay. Corsair took a hit. Port armor buckled, lights dimmed. Hold solution. Vance gripped arms, trust them. Rails fired, blind degraded, cluster hit. Second heavies node fried, cascade. Varun roared, primitives, how do relics pierce quad? Timing, Vance muttered off mic. Fleet inbound, closed. But heavies pressed. Third volley grazed. Engineering wailed. Akoi crawled again. Capacitor breach, sealing, rerouting from life support. Air grew stuffy, crew sweated. Rails charged last gasp. Sato, fire, slug flew, perfect seam, third heavy breached, last heavy broke. Fled with Varun, human fleet arrived, cheers fleet-wide, Vance exhaled. Damage report. Nominal, Akoi said. Relics endure, Pell smiled faint. Varun's shuttle pinging surrender. Vance nodded, victory stacked. Humans linked strong, deep space whispered more threats. Rails waited, word from command. Corsair lead next op, doctrine shift, Rails frontline. Vance allowed grin, crew stood tall, underestimated no more. Plasma-scarred hull cooled, Corsair flew on, but Pell's board pinged urgent. Captain Wormhole signature, unknown vector. Alien. Worse, Vance straightened. Battle stations. Rails hummed alive, always ready. Fresh contact bloomed, sensors strained, not Varun's kin, something older, hungrier. Signature ancient, Pell said. Pre-shield tech, no hybrid. Vance plotted evade, but it locked, weapons hot. Hale opened, voice gravelly, not scaled. Human frigate, your kinetics intrigue, stand down for scan. Trap shields, Sato asked. None detected, Pell confirmed. But energy spikes massive, Akoi. Rails max, advise fire first. Vance weighed, unknowns bit hard. Scan them back, she ordered. Sato, solution ready? Probes lanced. Data flooded Corsair's thrusters flared. Vance gripped her command chair as the frigate whipped into a tight pursuit arc. The alien flagship loomed ahead, a kilometer-long behemoth bristling with plasma vents. Its battle group, 2 heavies and 4 escorts, curved to match, shields glowing blue in the void. "They're biting, Captain," Ensign Pell said from sensors. Her fingers danced over holographic readouts. "Flagship rotating, shields forward to cover the chase." Vance nodded sharp. "Good, helm match their vector, keep us in their blind arc." She eyed the main holotank. Keth Varun's fleet expected an easy capture. Human relics couldn't pierce modern shields, let them chase. Her railgun said otherwise. Varun's voice crackled over open comms, smug and scaled. "Human commander, your obsolete kinetics amuse. Surrender now, my shields laugh at pebbles." Vance ignored him. "Sato status?" LT Sato leaned into his gunnery console. "Rails hot, ma'am, standard penetrators chambered. But for the spine, I recommend the heavy, twice the mass, tuned velocity." "Do it." Vance watched the holotank. Corsair danced on the edge of the battle group's formation. Heavies lumbered to flank. Escorts probed with warning lances of plasma. One grazed the frigate's flank. Alarms wailed. "Shields at 60%, Pell reported calm. "No hull breach." "Akoi, keep power flowing," Vance ordered. From engineering relay, Chief Akoi's voice cut through static. "Capacitors straining, Captain. Rails pulling max draw, cooling fins redlining." "Hold it together." Vance plotted the pass. "Lure the flagship into overcommitting. Force shield rotation. Expose the spine, the projector array running dorsal like a neural ridge. Hit that and shields collapsed fleet-wide." Varun's doctrine blinded him to the tactic. Flagship accelerated. Its nose, shields thickened, bleeding energy into the pursuit vector. Heavies pressed closer, plasma charging. "Pell, modulation patterns?" "Locked," Pell said. "They rotate every 47 seconds on pursuit. Predictable. Shield quadrant 3 vents in 10. Vance tensed. Crew's sweat beaded under flickering lights. Air recyclers hummed louder. One wrong twitch and plasma would melt them. Varun taunted again. "Your frigate tires drift into my nets, human. We collect primitives intact." 5 seconds, Pell murmured. "Quadrant switch incoming." Corsair shuddered. An escort's beam scorched armor plating. Sparks flew across the bridge. "Minor fires port side," Akoi barked. "Sealing, reroute complete, rails green." 3, 2, 1, Pell counted. "Switch over, quadrant 3 naked." Spine exposed for 2.7 seconds. "Now, Sato," Vance snapped. Sato's hands blurred. "Heavy penetrator loaded, mass driver aligned, firing solution, shield spine, node cluster 7, velocity 0.12 c, impact in 4 seconds." Rails whined. A thunderclap shook the deck as the slug launched. No flash, no beam, just mass at murder speed. Vance held breath. Holotank tracked the invisible killer. Flagship fired back. Plasma bolts streaked past Corsair's bow. "Full burn," Vance roared. Helm point-blank passed through their corridor. Evasive pattern delta. Thrusters screamed. Corsair surged forward, weaving through return fire. A heavy's volley clipped the aft quarter. Hull groaned. Lights dimmed. "Power dip," Akoi yelled. "Auxiliaries online." Rails fed from mains, Pell tracked. "Slug on target, impact," holotank lit up. The penetrator struck true, no hull breach. The spine erupted. Shield projectors shattered in a cascade of molten debris. Flagship's blue aura flickered, then died across ventral and starboard quadrants. Varun's comms exploded. "What sorcery? Shields failing, all units reform." Chaos rippled through the battle group. Heavies hesitated, shields linked to the flagship's grid. Gaps yawned. "Escorts scattering," Pell said. "Heavies reloading." Vance seized it. "Sato, standard barrage on heavy one, target engines." "Copy, firing volley." Rails barked twice. Slugs punched vacuum. First heavy's engines vented plasma. It yawed, crippled. Varun bellowed. "Impossible." "Primitives do not." Second heavy closing, Pell warned. "Plasma locks acquired." "Incoming," Helm called. Corsair rolled. Beams raked space. One struck amidships. Bridge shook violent. Consoles sparked. Vance tasted blood from bitten lip. "Damage." "Engineering hit," Akoi grunted over comms. Hull breach sealed, I'm crawling the conduit now. Capacitor array cracked, rerouting from life support. Air thickened, crew gasped shallow, sweat stung eyes. Keep firing, Sato. Rails charging last gasp, ma'am. Sato wiped brow. Third volley ready? Pell pinged urgent. Flagship recovering partial shields, Varun's overriding manually. Vance calculated, 1 pass left. Helm grazed the heavies, draw their fire. Frigate dove low, second heavy loomed massive, plasma bloomed. Corsair threaded the corridor, slugs flew. Third volley struck the heavy's seam, shields thin from flagship link break. Breached, wreckage bloomed, last heavy broke formation, fled toward wormhole jump. Varun's shuttle detached. Surrender ping incoming, Pell said faint smile. Human fleet signatures bloomed on sensors, reinforcements, cheers erupted bridgewide. Vance exhaled slow. Damage report. Nominal, Akoi rasped, hauling herself up. Relics endure. Vance allowed a nod, victory stacked. Rails proved it, disciplined kinetics trumped shield arrogance. Deep space whispered more. Command patched through. Corsair lead next op, doctrine shift, Rails frontline. Crew stood taller, underestimated no more. Plasma-scarred hull cooled, Corsair flew on. Pell's board pinged urgent. Captain Wormhole signature unknown vector. Vance straightened. Battle stations, Rails hummed alive. Fresh contact bloomed, sensors strained. Not Varun's scaled kin, something older, hungrier. Signature ancient, Pell said. Pre-shield tech. No hybrid. Vance plotted evade. Contact locked weapons. Hail opened. Voice gravelly, not scaled. Human frigate, your kinetics intrigue, stand down for scan. Trap, shields, Sato asked. None detected, Pell confirmed. Energy spikes massive. Hull composition unknown, adaptive plating, Akoi chimed in. Rails max charge, advise fire first, Captain. Vance weighed odds, unknowns bit hard. Human fleet trailed minutes out, by time. Scan them back, she ordered. Pell full spectrum. Sato solution primed on their spikes. Probes lanced out. Data flooded holotank. Contact dwarfed Corsair, twice the mass, jagged hull like forged obsidian. No shields, but spines pulsed energy. Weapons ports irised open. They're modulating, Pell said. Energy cycling fast. Not charging weapons, reinforcing hull, Gravel voice returned. Scans reciprocate, impressive relic, yield it, we study. Vance's jaw set, study meant dissect. Helm break vector evasive, thrusters fired, contact matched seamless, locks held. Solution, she asked Sato. Locked on primary spike cluster, heavy penetrator viable, but their plating data suggests it shifts density. Test it. Vance leaned forward. Fire probe slug low yield, Rails whispered, slug streaked. Contact's hull rippled, spike absorbed the hit. Crater formed, then sealed. Adaptive, Pell breathed. Regenerating faster than our armor, Akoi cursed. Power draw insane, they sip from a star, Gravel voice laughed rumble. Kinetics noted, now taste ours. Ports flared, not plasma, coherent gravitics. Space warped. Corsair lurched as invisible hammers struck. Shields collapsing, Pell yelled. Hull stress critical, alarm screamed. Deck buckled, Vance braced. New foe, old hunger, Rails spun up desperate. Full broadside, she commanded. Akoi overclock capacitors. Engineering groaned assent. Air scorched ozone, slugs chambered, contact closed, spines glowed predatory. Sato fired, 4 penetrators lanced, impacts bloomed, hull warped but held, 1 spike shattered. They bleed, Sato whooped, Gravel voice snarled. Persistent pests. Grav beams hammered back, Corsair tumbled, bridge lights failed, emergency reds pulsed. Vance tasted copper. Pell weak points. Exhaust vents cycling, hit there, overload their matrix. Helm aligned, Sato, fresh ping, human fleet closing fast, but contact wheeled. Wormhole flared behind it. Fleeing? Akoi asked. Or bait, Vance said, data spiked. More signatures, sisters to this Sato's fingers danced over the console. Multiple signatures resolving, 3 heavies, 4 escorts, flagship class leading, shields nominal across the board. Vance gripped her armrests. The holographic display bloomed with threats. The wormhole spat out the alien battle group like predators from a den. Their flagship dwarfed the first contact, spines elongated into shield emitters that hummed with stolen starlight. They're boxing us, Pell said, her voice stayed level, fingers flew across sensor feeds. Shields modulating predictable cycle every 4.2 seconds, low point at ventral arc. Lock it, Vance ordered. Sato penetrator spread, time the window, Rails thrummed. Capacitors whined under Akoi's overclocks. The first alien salvo warped space again. Gravitics lanced out, invisible fists crumpling Corsair's forward plating. The frigate shuddered. Sparks rained from overheads. "Shields at 23%, Pell called. "Hull breaches decks 4 through 6, Akoi patched through from engineering. "Rails hot, cooling loops strained, give me 20 seconds between volleys or we melt." Alien comms crackled open. A gravel voice boomed, smoother now, laced with authority. "UNS Corsair, this is Captain Adjunct Keth Varun, 9th Shield Phalanx. Your primitive kinetics amuse. Power down and prepare for boarding. Resistance wastes your mass." Vance's jaw tightened. She keyed the channel. "Negative, Captain Adjunct, adjust course or test our aim." Laughter echoed. "Aim, your slugs tickle, phalanx, envelop and suppress." The battle group surged. Escorts fanned wide, grav beams stitching the void. Corsair jinked hard, helms thrusters fired in ragged bursts. One beam clipped the aft quarter. Power flickered. "Pell modulation data to Sato," Vance snapped. "Akoi, divert aux power to forward banks." "Done," Akoi grunted. "Rails aligned, fire when ready." Sato's eyes narrowed at his plots. Numbers scrolled, impact vectors, shield harmonics, region rates. Their cycle peaks at 80% density forward. Ventral drops to 42%. Heavy penetrator at 0.8 C timed for nadir. Cascade potential high if we chain hits. "Fire," Vance said. Rails roared. 4 slugs erupted, invisible in the black until they struck. The lead escort's ventral shields flared blue-white. Hull plates buckled. Secondary explosions vented atmosphere. "Confirmed kill," Pell said. "One down," Varun's voice sharpened. "Irrelevant, shields adapt. Focus kinetics, your relic ends here." More grav beams hammered. Corsair spun, emergency reds pulsing. Vance tasted blood from a split lip. Deck plates groaned. "Status." "Forward shields gone," Pell reported. "Flagship closing to 50K, ventral window in 3, 2. Sato chambered the heavy. "Locked, firing kill shot." The railgun sang its deepest note. The slug, a dense tungsten penetrator massaged by Akoi's feeds into perfect alignment, streaked silent and true. It punched the flagship's ventral arc at nadir. Shields rippled, held for a microsecond, then failed. Cascade lightning arced across the grid, emitters overloaded in chain reaction. Blue plasma vented from spines. The flagship went dark, sensors blind, weapons cold. Bridge went silent. Sato exhaled. "Shield grid down, hull integrity 72%. Varun bellowed over open comms. Static laced his gravel tone. "What sorcery? Phalanx fall back, all units reform at Vector 7. Vance raised a hand. "Cease fire, helm match their drift. Sato, stand down." Rails word to idle. The remaining aliens wheeled, wormholes flickering to life. No pursuit from Corsair, no gloating. Vance opened the channel. "Captain Adjunct Varun, UNS Corsair, your phalanx is combat ineffective. Withdraw beyond 200K or we resume. No surrender demanded, leave with your ships intact." Pause, alien bridge chatter buzzed faint. Varun's voice returned, edged with calculation. "Human, kinetics, not primitive, unrefined, but decisive, phalanx withdrawing, transmit technical parameters, velocity profiles, mass drivers, formal review required for shield doctrine." "Data packet en route," Vance said. She nodded to Pell. Sensors officer bundled the battle logs, shield mods, firing solutions, cascade models, and fired them across. Wormholes swallowed the aliens one by one. The flagship lingered last, spines dim. Then gone, bridge lights stabilized, crew exhaled as one. Vance tapped her console. Battle data logged, timestamps, vectors, outcomes. "Akoi, report to bridge." Chief appeared minutes later, coveralls singed, face streaked grease. "Rails intact, cooling nominal now, we pushed limits but held." "Good work," Vance said. "Draft a field upgrade kit. Capacitor shunts, alignment jigs, modulation scanners, bundle Sato's firing solutions. Every obsolete rail platform in fleet gets it by 600. Akoi's eyes lit. "On it, prototype in 2 hours." Pell leaned back. "Their shields were flawless until we mapped the rhythm." Sato nodded. "Physics doesn't care about doctrine, numbers win." Vance stood. The forward display showed empty black human fleet signatures closing fast now. No victory cheers, just quiet efficiency. "Log addendum," she murmured to the record. "Human kinetics, adaptable, proven." Corsair accelerated toward rendezvous. Upgrade schematics already flowed from engineering. The aliens would review their data. Humans would build on it. In the void ahead, more battles waited. Rails spun up quiet ready. Fresh pings lit the display. Not aliens, reinforcements, human heavies, but beyond them faint distortions. Probes, scouts. Vance leaned in. Pell amplify, Sato prep diagnostics. The war turned not on shields or gravitics, on timing, on trust. On slugs that hit exactly right, Corsair pressed on.